Perfect. All righty. Well, welcome and good afternoon. Happy Tuesday to everyone. I'm so excited to welcome you here, and to those who are watching the recording. Thank you so much for being here for our Let's Talk Building a Greener Future with Sustainable Finger Lakes. Our goal here is to foster meaningful dialogue and discussion around sustainability challenges and opportunities in our region as the Finger Lakes continues to face all of the issues and social changes and economic issues, environmental issues. It's more important now than ever to kind of come together as a community to explore solutions that support a healthy environment and a vibrant local community. This conversation is designed to engage folks, our community stakeholders, you all, in sharing ideas and experiences that can help shape a resilient and sustainable future for us. And with Gay's leadership at Sustainable Finger Lakes, we hope to deepen collaboration and amplify efforts that protect our natural resources while promoting economic vitality. Thank you so much, Gay, for being here today. I'm going to read a little bit off of your website, Gay's bio. Let's see. Since 2004, Gay Nicholson has led Sustainable Finger Lakes, formerly Sustainable Tompkins, in designing and implementing an integrated program to advance the creation of a more sustainable regional community. Gay emphasizes a systems approach to working with partners to build the infrastructure and social capacity for more sustainable ways of living and working. Let me meet some folks here. Sorry about that. We have people coming in. Gay left a career in sustainable agriculture to work in environmental advocacy and education with Cornell's program on ethics and public life, and as executive director of the Finger Lakes Land Trust before leading the creation of Sustainable Tompkins. She's been an active volunteer in numerous community and environmental organizations, providing leadership from the local to the national level. Gay's undergraduate degree with high distinction is in environmental sciences from the University of Virginia, and her master's and doctorate are in crops physiology and integrated pest management from Cornell University. She currently serves on the boards of Heat Smart Tompkins and the Tompkins County Planning Advisory Board. So we are so lucky to have her here with us today. Thank you so much, Gay, for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely, yes. So this is going to be just an open dialogue and discussion. Gay does have a presentation to share with us, a PowerPoint, but because this is such a small group, I want it to be engaging, and feel free to ask questions, put questions in the chat, raise your hand, and we'll we'll continue on that way. So, Gay, it is all yours.
All right, let me share my slides. And again, thanks for having us to come and give you the backstory on our organization. Let's see, share this. And how's that working? Everybody see that title slide?
Yep, it's perfect.
All righty. Well, I will spend most of my time just telling you our story. We're a community-based nonprofit that was started back in 2004 to support local action and education on just the many facets of moving towards more sustainable ways of living and working. And many of us have known us as Sustainable Tompkins. That's who we were for the first 18 years, but we changed our name to Sustainable Finger Lakes back in 2022, recognizing that system change can't be confined within a municipal boundary, but needs to be realized at the regional level where our workforce and economy is distributed and our watersheds and our food sheds are located. Just as more effective if we're working at a larger scale. So we have acted as a connector, a convener, and a catalyst to engage both the grassroots and policymakers in the work of redesigning our systems. So with the goal that hopefully our community can more successfully cope with global influences such as climate disruption and energy transitions. It all started with a meeting at City Hall back in fall of 2003, hosted by the planning director, a long discussion about the issues facing all of us and what maybe could be done about it. And I was charged with putting together a feasibility study to see if our community is ready to have an organization focused on sustainability. So organized circles and salons with over 200 community leaders and had a lot of great discussions culminating in a circle summit that the Community Foundation was our surprise donor of the dinner that night. That was a sweet surprise from you guys. And it was clear from that the initiative, had legs and in our community. So one of our primary roles has been convening people to learn together on a really wide variety of topics. Our circles and salons are followed by master classes, teach-ins, film screenings, and panel discussions, design workshops, webinars, and a series of regional multi-day conferences on climate, energy, health, food systems, all sorts of topics are covered. Another significant area for our work has been on greening the economy. Starting with our 2005 Sustainable Technology Showcase, this was to introduce our business community to some of the basic concepts out there of what's a fuel cell, energy efficiency, waste reduction, etc. We also worked with Tompkins County Solid Waste on a lot of projects. Creating the first Finger Lakes by Green was the first website where you could go to see where you could buy more green materials. And we worked with the campuses and municipalities on a green purchasing collaborative for them to buy in bulk together. And we were the organizer of region's first Green Collar Career Fair. One of our spinoff organizations was the Green Resource Hub, which maybe some of you have heard about. But that also created the Sustainable Enterprise and Entrepreneur Network, the SEEN. We hired Anna Callis as our first coordinator for that back in the day. And we also hosted lots of green drinks for many years for people in the movement. Another very important role for us has been supporting the local movement in as many ways as we have the capacity for. It's not just about our programs and what we are able to do, but celebrating everybody else. And for many years, we had an annual party at which we gave out our Science and Sustainability Awards on all sorts of different arenas to different types of groups for innovations and hard work. We also hosted Earth Day for many years to provide a showcase for local sustainability initiatives, and organized a column in Tompkins Weekly, made it available to others in our movement so they would have a kind of a guaranteed place to publish their events, their thoughts, etc. And we were co-founder of Building Bridges with the Dorothy Cotton Institute to work together in connecting the dots between environmental activism and social justice. Both are key to living sustainably. So while we had the energy for it, we as a group put on a number of important gatherings. We also have this regional sustainability map that has close to 1,000 entries in it, I think now, in categories like food systems, energy, and democracy, with 42 subcategories. It's to help people find others. What are you interested in? But this summer we're researching a social network mapping software to find a platform that the whole movement across the region could use for much more dynamic cross-linking and collaboration rather than more static thing that the map is for looking others up. uh, um, One of the major ways we have been supporting the movement is with our neighborhood mini grant program, which was launched back in 2008 to provide practical support for folks with a good idea, but not the incomes to buy the tools or materials they might need to act on that idea. Our mission has been to stimulate resident-based grassroots initiatives that improve quality of life and long-term health in our local communities. Thus far, we have raised and given away over $98,000 to support 242 projects in Tompkins County. They've been a really wonderfully diverse set of projects serving various sectors of our community. Um, you know, some of it aimed at low-income folks or youth. Lots on the food systems, lots of community gardens and school gardens, but also quite a few bikes and enabling biking and bike culture. About half of the projects have benefited the city of Ithaca, but plenty of them have been out in the outlying of towns and villages as well. And our applicants, the recipients of the awards, have ranged from individuals to other nonprofits, neighborhood groups, and some micro businesses that we've helped out with some small grants to help them make their business greener. What we really love about the mini grant program is we're just proud to have provided the seed money for so many wonderful community endeavors that have taken place, and some of which have grown wonderfully into their own thriving nonprofits, like the Finger Lakes Toy Library, for example. We're going to be expanding the mini grant program this summer over to the Keuka and Seneca watersheds for the counties of Schuyler, Yates, and Seneca. And we're in conversations with folks in Elmira to create another mini grant program for Tioga, Chemung, and Steuben counties. And then hopefully we find some time to go and find more business sponsors in Cayuga and Cortland counties and sort of add them to the Tompkins, Cayuga, Wasco watershed mini grant program. We really feel like this is a way to encourage more people to adopt sustainable practices and provide leadership to others in doing so. So, as you know, we've covered many sustainability topics over the past 21 years, but we've always been deeply involved in helping to identify and adopt solutions to our climate crisis. These have included in-person classes, like you see up here, the energy efficiency classes aimed at women to help them understand more about what's in the basement and how they could themselves go ahead and make their houses snugger with some well-applied energy efficiency measures. But we've also did a youth climate challenge, offering small grants to high school kids to take on a project like these two brainiacs who did this whole green refrigeration summit. They're in college at Princeton and Yale, I believe. But we also hosted lots of climate salons and conferences, and we've just been deeply involved in promoting heat pumps to get us off fossil fuels for heating our homes and businesses. Back in 2010, I was motivated to start our own local carbon offset fund because of what I thought was a lack of transparency and accountability in the carbon markets that were emerging at the time. So carbon offsets are a way to take responsibility for your emissions by making a payment to reduce emissions elsewhere. And typically they go toward projects like wind farms or planting trees. But I wanted to take a systems approach with ours by addressing what I think are two of the main challenges facing humanity today, which is climate change and income inequality. So all of the carbon offset donations that come into us go back out in grants to equip lower income residents of the Finger Lakes region with carbon-free heating and cooling solutions for their homes. And, with these energy upgrades, they're able to reduce their carbon footprint while freeing up their household budget and, maybe to cover other items that are really important to their well-being and certainly improving their comfort and well-being. The result has been homes that are climate smart and climate ready. We think of it as a win-win-win. Offsetters have an easy way to take responsibility for their emissions. The awardees get affordable clean energy, and we're benefiting the local economy by helping to make more jobs happen. So who offsets their carbon? We, over the years, accumulated a cadre of people who take responsibility as part of their climate activism for their emissions. They offset their vacations, honeymoons, visits to grandkids, family reunions, conference travel, business travel. But many also offset emissions from their homes and businesses. Um, as I said, oftentimes our climate fund grants provide the gap financing to allow a job to go forward, and that helps support all of our local installer businesses. It keeps them working and keeps more money circulating in our local economy as a result. And then, of course, our awardees benefit. All of them make less than 80% of median income for their household size. And single parent families are our largest category of awardee, but we also have a lot of senior citizens, young families, immigrant families, and first-time home buyers. We always like to emphasize that we consider our grant awardees as climate heroes, not as charity cases. These are the folks that are leading the way by getting their home fixed up and lowering their carbon footprint. Although we started in Tompkins County, we're now a regional climate fund, and so far I've completed 110 projects in 14 counties of the region. And most of these have been insulating and air sealing, but also installing more energy efficient equipment like heat pumps and heat pump water heaters, some renewables. If we hadn't been there, maybe these families would not have been able to take advantage of the clean energy technologies and all the benefits that have come with it. So we've awarded over $202,000 now to those families. And we estimate that that'll prevent over 11,000 tons of carbon dioxide from entering the atmosphere over the lifetime of those improvements that were made. Now, because of our success with the Climate Fund, we've been approached, and my involvement with Heat Smart Tompkins, a lot of the last 5 years has been involved in not more rain. Wasn't expecting that. We have been approached to apply for grants from NYSERDA, and one of them was a large grant we won to try to get heat pumps into low-income rentals in Tompkins County. And we just wrapped that one up in April. We collected a lot of data for feedback to NYSERDA on all the many barriers that there are when you're working with landlords and tenants and old houses and the complexity of that process. I don't know if you can hear the rain coming down, but it's pretty loud here. That also led to another grant, this one from the Tompkins Community Recovery Fund, aimed at mobile homes. Now, mobile homes may provide an affordable housing solution for lower income households, but their lower quality construction can mean energy costs that are 70% higher per square foot than a stick-built house. So they really need our help. And we ran this pilot offering stacking up incentives and offering subsidized envelope retrofits and heat pumps to lower their energy bills, provide all-season comfort, and better indoor air quality. And because of the stacking of the incentives, these mobile homeowners on average only had to pay 7% of the bill. So that was And 8 of them, we also gave them my Finger Lakes Climate Fund to really help them out and get it to a point where they could afford everything that needed to be done. So we're just now wrapping up that pilot here in the next 2 weeks. That one will be done and we'll be pivoting. We've spent a lot of time, like most of our bandwidth the last few years, on these heat pump pilots. And it's been great to gain that information and give that feedback to the overall system. But this summer, we're wanting to pivot to our larger vision of supporting the regional movement with new tools such as that social network mapping platform I mentioned, and expanding the mini grants into surrounding counties and also the climate fund. So we're wanting to bring those resources more broadly. But long term, we know that no matter what economic perturbations and political upheavals might continue in the years ahead, climate change and the resulting climate migration into the Great Lakes in the Northeast is on the table pretty irrevocably. And we need to, this is a reality that we need to be addressing head on. So we'll be looking for thought partners and leaders for that work in the months and years ahead. Here's some of our contact information. You can follow us on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. We're on Blue Sky now as well. And we've got lots of stories to share on our YouTube channel of the awardees and from some of the conferences and things like that we've done over the years. But here's my email as well. So I'm going to stop there and see what questions people might have or what you would like to discuss further.
Thank you so much, Kay. I didn't even know that you guys do all of that work.
It's been a lot
I
of
had
work.
no idea. Oh my goodness. This was like one of those like aha moments. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you
And the
so much.
pictures, if there was an older crowd here, you may have recognized a lot of the faces of the past, like Mayor Peterson and Ed Marks. We worked with a lot of people in those early days, and it's just interesting how often I have to tell my interns, oh, they're probably retired by now. We need to
Yeah.
do some new networking.
Yes. Well, you do such an important such important work, and we thank you so much for all that you do. We're gonna open it up for some questions. I didn't check to see if we had anything in the chat yet. Um, are there any questions, any comments, any further discussion on their 5,000 programs and things that they do? Mary
I have
Beth?
a question. Yeah, that was great, Gay. Thank you for your incredible work. It's so important to our county and our residents. I'm on the board of the Community Foundation, so this has been really helpful just to understand more
Great.
about what Gloria said, which is how much you do. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Gosh. My question is just about like, what are your current challenges? There's a lot happening, and it would be just good to know more about the hurdles that you're trying to overcome given what's been happening since
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
I know. Well, as Gloria and I were chatting before we got started, I think one of the key things we need to do, and where we might have leverage as an entity, as an organization, is to again strengthen this regional movement and get us focused on covering the basics: clean air, clean water, adequate food supply, shelter, affordable shelter, and hold on to democracy at the local level. These are important things to do because we see sovereign wealth funds and hedge funds buying up homes, mobile homes and regular housing. They're buying up farmland, they're buying up water treatment systems. They want to own it all. And so one of the things I want to be working on is that happening here? And what can we do to prevent it from happening here? And pass whatever laws need to be passed in order to not allow it, so that we retain local control over our fates. And that gives us, because I really feel that people who aren't afraid because they've got some of their own energy and they've got some of their own food, they can figure out how they're going to make it. They're less easily cowed, by bullies who, want to be in charge of us. And that's certainly what is going on at the federal level, is a lot of bullying. So that I think is a key thing that all of us local people can be working together to make sure that the fabric of our community is resilient. But I also want to work on, the surrounding counties been depopulating for decades. So what can we do to help young progressives who maybe are a little scared to be living in some of those southern states, or just from California and who was tired of the wildfires, how can we help them find jobs in housing, not in Ithaca and Tompkins County, where it's such a struggle with housing, but to, what's available in Penn Yan and Canandaigua and Watkins Glen and Auburn, et cetera, that we have some wonderful towns in this region with good bones, sweet little main streets. And how can we put back that stronger fabric that we used to have and figure out what the economy then is based on, and not let it be based on exploitation of the local resources or the local people that matter. Big, big questions ahead. And so one of the things we're trying to do is raise money for to hire a deputy director, because I'm also going to be one of those people moving towards retirement, right? Or at least half time. So we need to bring in new people to run our current programs. And I'd love to work on these other larger topics and host some of those conversations like I have in the past that lead us to sorry, the cats are chasing each other, that lead us to having a plan together and a strategy for how we're going to do this. And we're also a sidebar, we're working a little bit on the harmful algae blooms and land use control. So we have a number of other little things going on. But at the larger scale, I want to host those regional conversations.
Thank you.
Thank you
You're
for that.
welcome.
Okay. I did have a question about how do you promote like the application and the process for the individuals that want to like apply for support for their homes or even like the mobile home initiative?
Okay. Oh,
How do
well,
you
those
find?
pilots are closed now. But for the climate fund, I work with the installers. So the installers identify when they have a low income customer who isn't able to like get it together to pay for what needs to be done, then the installers know to come to me.
Got it.
Apply. And I've tried to streamline that. So I get the data. I just piggyback on the data they already have to give, all the documents they have to give to NYSERDA, just give those to me as well. Let me look at the analysis there, and then I calculate a carbon grant based on how many tons would be offset. So I've been doing that for years now. So it's really through the installers. So when people approach me, I say, here's a list of installers, go
Got
get
it.
it, figure out who you're working with and tell them to come to me.
Got it.
And for the mini grants, we advertise and let everybody know when the next round of grants is due. And Sasha sends them an application form to fill out, and then our mini grant council meets to divvy up what funds we have amongst the applicants. So I've been doing that since 2008 as well.
So it's like second nature to you, like
Yeah.
autopilot.
Yeah, that's why we think that we can handle expanding it to the other counties. And I really think this is such a key thing to, if a person gets a taste of success, they have a good idea, and but they don't have $500 for a deer fence for a community garden,
Yeah.
Or they want to start teaching others about bike repair, but they need a good stand, and some tools, then let's, support them in that.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, they're founding nonprofits and doing more things and they become a leader, you know? That's what we want to do is support and nurture leadership in all parts of society.
Absolutely. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much again. Are there any other last thoughts? I know we're 3 minutes over. These are usually a quick 30-minute chat, a way to connect. Are there any other questions? John.
Hi, Gloria. Hi, Gay. Thanks so much for the presentation today. I would like to say I've done so much reading about Flint and the water crisis there, and ultimately, what so few people realize is it was that receivership decision and that loss of sovereignty that really started things down the road there. So I think the connection between all the systems you've got going, but also the local control, I think that's a link we rarely make in this space. And I'm at the Genesee Valley Conservancy, so we're obviously very tied to the land, habitat, open space, farmland. But that linkage there, I think, is really critical that you bring forward, and I'm fascinated to see it. May I ask you how you go about making this case to a younger generation? If you've done some work with Finger Lakes Land Trust, we've got a similar, our center of gravity is probably in the 50 and over
Yes.
demographic. How are you engaging that younger generation? May I ask you that?
It's a challenge, especially in a college town, where young people are moving through and relatively transient. But what has been wonderful benefit to us is NYSERDA's Clean Energy Internship Program, which allows me to hire local college students, like Emily Law, who's with us here today. She's been our communications staffer since last fall, and they are able to help us use our social media in a way that is attracting a younger demographic. But it is
Because they're
it's
all on social media.
they're all on social media. That's why we'll go to Blue Sky and start doing stuff there as well. And but I think that it is such an issue of bandwidth anymore. And that's where I feel like maybe it's more the 35-year-old, that is now like settling down into a job and maybe a home and maybe a family and putting roots down. That's the kind of person that's more likely to run for the local town board and or serve on the water committee for a local town. And so I think that demographic, if we can reach them and help them get educated and a sense of empowerment. I can't tell you how many times over the decade I've had people come to me and say, "Oh, I would have spoken up, but I didn't feel like I knew enough to speak up." And it's like you don't need to know all the nuts and bolts. Speak from a position of principle and ethics, then, if you want to raise a red flag on something, at least speak up. So I think that is a demographic that we'll want to be figuring out how to talk to is that maybe not just, Gen Z and younger, but who was above them? Let's see, not XY, what millennials. Millennials would be in their 40s now, right? So I think that all ages are good to involve and engage, but in terms of steering and being in a position to vote on local control, I think we should focus in on that group. And that's where helping that age group move here and find work is a very useful thing all of us could be doing, is to enable that in the surrounding counties, again, not Ithaca and Tompkins County, where we're pricing everybody out as a result of it being popular. So, and that's where you don't want people to have to commute to Ithaca for a job. You want to have jobs in Watkins Glen and Canandaigua and Auburn, and in all the other sweet little towns of the Finger Lakes region.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John, for that great question. I can always count on John to ask amazing, thought-provoking questions. Well, thank you all again for your presence and your partnership. And Gay, thank you for your passion and your knowledge and all the things that you are and that you represent in the
Thank you. I
community. Thank
appreciate
you so
that.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate the opportunity to learn from you, to share, ask questions, and
Yeah.
to think about, how we can all move forward towards this future, sustainable future that we all want. And it's at a grasp, trying to grasp it.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
but
And it's going to be tricky because it's already hard enough to change our own patterns and all the supply chains and the systems that end up with PFAS in our sludge, etc. There's big challenges as it is, and now we have this added challenge of an autocracy forming, and um,
that
it
part.
we've got but it maybe it increases our motivation to get it together to give much more bandwidth than we're giving as a society to these larger issues and help steer.
Well, thank you all again. Thank you all for joining and thank you all for watching. Um, we want to again say that we appreciate GIG, we appreciate the community for showing up and for sticking with us. So thank
Thank
you
you.
again and take good care, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye now. Thank
Bye.
you.